If we are all living in different dimensions, my theory is you didn't really meet a narcissist. You actually were in a narcissistic dimension. Like you were narcissistic too. You have to remember that narcissism is not just about somebody manipulating you, but it's also about not speaking up. It's about being emotional. It's about being attached to everything that you feel. When you meet narcissistic people and people who are toxic, maybe that's just the dimension you are in. And so when you level up, you level outside of that dimension. You become you go to a different level, and you can jump and skip as many as you want. And so when you start to meet people that are detached, that are healed, you are in a different dimension. You start to meet people where their nervous systems are healed, and you start to enter rooms where you feel like you fit in. That's because you're in a different dimension. You just time jumped. You just jumped timelines. But in that dimension, when you were meeting narcissistic people, you probably were very narcissistic too. In that dimension where you were broke and poor, and you didn't have much, you could probably look around and everybody else didn't have anything either. Nobody else was talking about finances and things like that. It's because you were in that dimension. And so when people talk about being in narcissistic realities where their parents were narcissistic, that was just the low frequency that you were in. That was that dimension. But you are supposed to learn and grow, and you're supposed to level up to the person that you want to be. So I believe that there's multiple dimensions in this one universe, and it's about your consciousness. It's about your awareness. It's about what you're willing to do to get what you want. We talk about that interview where there are certain people who had to sell drugs, right? There are certain smugs. There are certain people who had to sell certain things and do certain things. They were in a low vibrational dimension, and I'm sure everybody around them associated the same way. Their parents told them to do something, told them to do it. They were amongst low-hanging fruit. They were in a dimension that they didn't necessarily choose to be in, but they were in. And so you can be born in a certain dimension. You can be born amongst narcissists. It doesn't mean you have to stay there, right? But you also have to break the mentality, break the chains that you have learned so that you can stop meeting and talking to toxic and narcissistic people.